From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. Nashville has a rich tradition of African Americans stepping up, particularly back in the civil rights movement in the 1960s. Many of them were young people, college students, who staged successful lunch counter sit-ins. Then as freedom riders, they desegregated and integrated buses across the South and ultimately across the nation. This week on Inside Politics, you're going to hear from two courageous young Nashvillians who were still in grammar school when they made the difference. They helped to desegregate two of Nashville's rites of summer for the young, playing knothole baseball, junior knothole baseball, and attending the local Boy Scouts camp, Camp Boxwell. Our guests are longtime Metro Criminal Court Clerk Howard Gentry and Walter Overton, former Executive Director of the Metro Sports Authority and General Manager of Nissan Stations. Spoiler alert for everybody, both these men are friends of mine from childhood. Walter and Howard, welcome back to Inside Politics. Welcome to Inside Politics.
Thank you.
Now, both of you grew up near Centennial Park in the early 60s. When you went to the park to play, did you feel welcome or quite the opposite?
Well, personally, I didn't feel welcome because I was warned prior to going. And so even though I could play on the side of the park where 23rd Avenue was, where Walter lived, we were kind of warned not to go on the other side of the park where the lake was. Because,
and you were warned by?
And the Parthenon, by parents. Now, my parents, at least I can't speak for Walter. And so I never felt very comfortable there.
When you went there, were you warned or also watched by police, or was it other white people that were using the park that warned you?
No, I mean, when I went to the other side, I was watched by my mother. When we couldn't fish in the lake, right. And so, but I had a friend named Bobby who looked white, and so every now and then I'd go over there with him, and we'd fish, and they wouldn't bother me.
Walter, were you worried that something might happen if you broke those rules? That something might happen, you might get hurt?
No, we lived next door to the park.
Yeah.
And then there was a street, a dead-end street, where I could look out of my window and see what was going on in the park. So if there was nothing going on in the park, then my friends or cousins would come over and we'd play kickball or play touch football or go into the diamond that Marchetti started.
And there were a lot of baseball fields in Centennial Park. Howard,
yes.
Were you allowed there? Were you run off the baseball fields too? Were you not allowed to be there?
I don't remember being run off, but again, we really weren't supposed to go on the diamond. But see, Walter lived within eyesight of the field and diamond. So if I told my parents I was going to play with Walter, then it was okay because we knew his grandmom and everybody would be, his mom would be watching us. But the diamond, it was off limits for me, but I would go when Walter would go.
In 1964, there was a junior knothole field there. It was an enclosed field. It was where Centennial Medical Center is today. It was a team I was trying to make that year. It did not make it, but coach's name, you mentioned Mr. Marchetti, Gino Marchetti. How did it happen that you and I think some other folks met him one day and he made you an offer to get on the team? How did that come about?
I'll tell you how. It was myself, Daniel Bender, Absalom Farmer, and Gino's team was on the field practicing.
I was there too.
No, I take that back.
Yeah.
We were on the field and they came in to practice, and we sat down at the side of the fence looking. And so at some point, I'm not sure how Mr. Marchetti came and talked to us, but he did talk to us about playing on his team. And that's how that came about. So Mr. Marchetti went to our parents, with my parents, and talked about it and asked could my son play? And I said,
what did your parents think about that? I mean, they were aware of what happened with Jackie Robinson in Major League Baseball. Did they want their preteen sons to be getting into a situation like that?
Yes, mine was similar to Walter. He said, Walter, you missed one point. We actually went on the field at that time, you batted, and you were knocking the ball over the fence. That was one part that you left out there. Yeah. So with
Walter
me,
liked a lot of balls over the fence.
Because I remember that vividly, because with me, Mr. Marchetti came to my house. And when he was walking up my steps, I thought I was going to get in trouble because I was told to stay off the field. And I had been on the field. But he came in and sat with my parents and told him what he wanted to do. And my dad just told him to take care of us. And I actually have a letter at home that he wrote Mr. Marchetti and told him, he really asked him to take care of us, to protect us. He was talking about all the boys. And yes, so that's kind of the way it went.
And you felt protected, is that right, Walter?
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Mr. Marchetti was big and tough. Mr. Jones was tough too, and so
he came to the house.
There was another player on the team that was also a classmate of mine at Cathedral, Robert Cobb. He was on the team as well.
Yes.
When you got on the team and you started to play, how did you find with the players on your own team? They were fine. You were all teammates. You stuck up for each other, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember. Was Robert on the club when we started, or did he?
That was his last year. Remember, he's a year older than us.
That's right.
So he was on for 1 year.
He was already there for 1 year, and we came in.
He came in with us.
Oh, okay.
But he was a year older than us, so he only played 1 year. We played 2.
Right.
What about the players on the other team? When you got out there and started playing, did you have any problem with your opponents?
I really don't remember a lot of problems. I heard about them, but I don't remember it out there on the field. No.
No problem from the umpires? No problem from the coaches on the other team?
Last game we had a problem.
What was the problem?
Tournament when they said only one of us could play.
So then there was a rule that only one you.
Yeah.
That just to set to say.
No, they made the rule up. And you don't remember that? They made a rule, and that was what held the game up. You know, the game was held up because, and we followed the rule the first time, but second baseman was sick. Was that Risha? And I wasn't playing. I didn't get to play in the first game, but I played in the last game because I had to play second base because he got sick. And I didn't have my uniform on, I just had my jersey, and one of the kids on my team had to change pants with me. And I got to play that game because of the Mr. Marchetti decided he was not going to follow that rule.
Yeah.
We're talking to 2 of Nashville's civil rights icons from back in the early 1960s. They were still in grammar school at the time, helping to desegregate the junior knot hole baseball in Nashville. And we'll talk later in the program about desegregating Camp Boxwell, the Boy Scout camp here in Nashville. Back to continue our conversation with Walter Overton and Howard Gentry after this break.